being in the house. So when I go live on YouTube, I turn the music off because they got all these different rules concerning sound and copyright and so on and so forth. But they're very, very strict on it. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being in here. For those that are just meeting me, my name is Arnold Austin. I am a certified coach. I'm out of New Jersey. I'm on here generally, like I say, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so when I say I'm on here Monday through Friday, that's most weeks. This week I have my very first conference that I'll be doing. It'll be a 3-day event. I'm not charging anything for people to come in there and to get the information. But there will be things that I will have for sale after the event is over for those that want special, help and so on and so forth. Yes, there will be things for sale because I'm a person. I'm very upfront with people and I'm straight with people. But I'm willing to give the information or to help to get people started. So if they choose not to use what I'm sharing, then that's fine. Whatever it is. But part of what I want to share tonight is this whole process. Like I was saying before, it started with my own experiences. And one of the things that happened is that through this whole journey, after coming out of the relationship and after starting my healing journey and so on and so forth, and starting to get my own coaching and going through my process, I got to the point where I was in I think a good enough condition where I could start trying to, based upon my experiences, help other people. And so through that, I started getting people, and I started getting on lives. And in the process of getting on lives, what happened is people started asking me about dating and how do you know when you should start dating, and should you date? And thank you for whoever's in the live on YouTube. Appreciate you being here. And so with people asking me those questions, I had to start coming up with things that could be kind of points of reference that individuals can use to help themselves get to the place of knowing if they're finding or meeting a person that could potentially be a healthy relationship. And so my point with all of that is, when you look at abandonment wounds, if you're dealing with an individual with abandonment wounds, that is not a safe space for you to invest your heart. That is not a safe individual for you to invest in, because they're a person that they're not safe within themselves because of them not being able to rely on certain people around them that were supposedly or that should have been people that they could have trusted and they should have been able to trust and rely on, and people that were people that kept their word to them. They grew up knowing that they couldn't trust people. And that's where, and a lot of the women that I've coached, because a lot of the women that I coach from TikTok, my pages are kind of crazy. On TikTok, it's 95% women, 5% men. On YouTube, it's 75, 80% men, and the other 20% women. So it's my pages are crazy. And so my point with all of this is that if you're meeting people that have these woundings, thank you, Donna, for being on the YouTube. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for your comments in the chat. Thank each and every one of y'all for deciding to join in. Thank y'all for the chat is moving on the TikTok side also. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all. But my point is, when you're dealing with individuals with abandonment wounds, and I mentioned this yesterday, it's going to be the same thing as if you saw an abandoned house. There's certain signs and things that you'll be able to see. Like back in the day when people used to get newspapers, you would see a bunch of newspapers in their mailbox. You would see the grass is real high. It's summertime and this time of year. If it's wintertime, you'd see that the snow is all clear in their entire yard. And you see certain things about the windows and let you know that that's an abandoned property. That's a property that no one has lived in or is living in. And so that's the same thing with that example. That's the same thing with the people that are in our lives or that we're meeting around our lives. People are going to manifest symbols to show that, I'm not really a safe space. Good evening, D-Law. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. People will show you that they're not a safe space, and how they're going to show you is through their behavior. One of the biggest keys, one of the greatest keys that I would suggest to anybody on any of these lives, regardless of if you're in YouTube land or TikTok land, one of the greatest lessons that I learned and that I will take with me till the day that I pass is that I do not listen to what people say, but what I actually do is I listen. I do not listen to what people say, but I actually watch what they do, because people's behavior tells you the truth, not their words. Their words are flattery. Their words are hyperbole. Their words are not true many times. And if you start listening to the words, you're going to get bedazzled. You're going to get hooked up. You're going to get hooked with some nonsense based upon getting caught up in what they're saying and allured and finagled and decept, because deception is based upon people using their words and the way that they're talking to you. them telling you all the things that you want to hear. This is part of why I'm telling you, you have to be absolutely careful. If you are deciding to date, you're at that mindset where you're saying, you know what, I want somebody. I've been going through my healing journey. I've been single for a long time. I'm looking to get myself started. I'm looking to figure this whole thing out, so on and so forth. And so I'm tired of just sitting around in my house and being alone. So I want to actually meet somebody. If you're at that point, one of the things that I'm trying to stress to you is, you want to know certain things to look for. This is not that you're going to stand there, like I said last night, and have a pad and you're going to be, oh, this person is this and this. No, this is not saying that. This is just saying that you need to have a point of reference. For anything that you're doing, you need to have a point of reference. If you're going to buy a house, your point of reference is you need to have a certain credit score. You need to be on your job a certain amount of years. You need to have bank statements. You need to have this. So this is like anything else. You just need to have the know-how or the know-to or the how-to get to the next step. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for the taps, the likes, and shares. Thank you for the follow, Delia Smith. Appreciate that. Thank you for the rising key, D-Long. Thank y'all for keeping the chat moving on TikTok. Thank y'all for being in YouTube. It said there's 3 people in here. Thank y'all for being in YouTube, because YouTube is my buddy now. I like YouTube. But one of the things that I talked about yesterday, I'm going to go over it real quickly, is emotional instability. You want to find people that you are meeting that have a level of emotional stability. So that means that, yes, all of us have fluctuating emotions. Yes, you'll be very, very excited when you get that position or that new job, or maybe that new car, or that raise, or that business that you started, or it's a success from that, or you find out you're a New York Times bestseller. You're going to be excited about those things. So yes, you're not going to be like this. You're not going to be monotone. But the thing is, you don't want to be too high and you don't want to be too low. You don't allow everything that comes into your life to affect you. And you're like on a Richter, you're like on a scale, and you're up and down. You're up, because it's going to affect the person that you're with it's going to affect the person that you're with negatively. Because if they love you and if they've invested their hearts into you, when you're up and when you're down and when you're up and when you're down, it's going to affect them. Second thing, fear of intimacy. And we talked about this yesterday, fear of intimacy and commitment. You're going to have to get the YouTube video. And in that video, I talk about it in detail, but I'm just going to hit this briefly. The third thing, clinginess and dependency, which all of us understand what that is. Fourth thing is low self-esteem and self-worth. In order to build your self-esteem and self-worth, it's going to require, like I said yesterday, thank you, Dan. Appreciate you being in here. It's going to require you to do certain things. Thank you all on TikTok for keeping that chat moving. Appreciate y'all on YouTube. Thank each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for the likes, the shares. Thank y'all for your patience. Thank y'all for your time. But it's going to require, in order for you to build your self-confidence, and that is an inside job. It's going to require you to do the things that you're not comfortable with doing, because your self-image will be built in your subconscious. It's not going to be built based upon your conscious mind. Yes, you can do things consciously to help it, but the overall process of how you feel about yourself is internally in the inner thoughts or innermost parts of your mind. And that's going to be in your subconscious. And so that's why I'm talking about this. And that's why I'm sharing this over and over again. Number 5. Now I'm getting into 5 more. We're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is trust issues. Many of the individuals that I have coached up to this point have confessed with having trust issues. Trust issues are sometimes a result of a choice that we made in the past, of maybe getting involved with someone in a relationship, or getting involved with someone in business, or getting involved with someone that we've invited or allowed into our lives. And at some point, this person turned around and used our kindness against us. They betrayed us. They lied. They stole. They cheated. They did all these things. In the process of these things, we got hurt. And sometimes when we get hurt, the first response is protection, self-protection, because that's the way we're made. You're made to protect yourself. That's why many of us, when you go back and you look at your life, we were in this stage of denial when it comes to grief. Because that stage of denial is one of the defense mechanisms that was placed in us from birth to protect ourselves, that wouldn't get the full grunt or the full brunt of that painful situation that takes place in our lives. So it's given to us incrementally. But the problem is, if we stay there too long, if we allow ourselves to stay there too long, and we don't allow ourselves to start getting to a place of acceptance, then we're going to prolong the pain, which is going to make it worse. So the first thing is trust issue, learning to trust. And so how do we learn to trust? Trust learns. The thing that I often say, and I've said this numerous times, is Trust starts with us, first of all, understanding that we can trust ourselves. I was given an instruction, a spiritual instruction after meditation to do something. So what I did was I wrote it down. And then after writing it down, I went and did what I was supposed to do. I went and got copies of certain things. I did certain things. So what it was doing is I was being prepared based upon listening to my internal voice, listening to the internal voice within me that all of us have. Nobody's any more special. When people say, oh, women have intuition, so do men. So do men. There's no one person that has it or one person that does. It's either are you going to be sensitive enough to listen and be in tune with it, or aren't you? It's real simple. And so when you look at listening to those instructions and then taking action on it, and then once I get the result from it, it's just going to reconfirm in me to trust myself. When we trust ourselves, it's easy for us to know if we can trust somebody else. But because of the pattern of bad habits that's ingrained in our subconscious, because those habits is part of our subconscious, and if it's not changed, it's going to be still more just bad habits, more bad decisions. And so those decisions and those habits are ingrained in our heart and in our subconscious. So what happens is it's hard to trust people. And part of the process with not trusting individuals is because we really don't trust ourselves. I really didn't trust myself at times. I didn't trust that I was going to make the right decision on the person that I was going to pick, because I picked it before and it was the wrong person. I was in a rush before. I didn't take my time. I was in a rush. I just made a quick decision. But after you make a mistake and after you fumble and after you make a mistake, that should be a time to sit back. That should be a time to sit back and get in a place where I can actually hear what are the instructions that I need to do for my life. This isn't about what everybody else is saying. This is part of us learning to trust that internal voice. You have it. This is why your meditation time is so critical and so important. Do you quiet your mind? Do you get yourself in a place where you can actually shut out everything? I got a little timer that I use. 30 minutes. Flip it over. Sit there, look in one direction. Because of studying Qigong, not only can I meditate and get in a meditative state with my eyes shut, it's like I was telling someone this over the weekend, I can do it with my eyes open. I don't need to be sitting somewhere quiet, and I can do it either or, because I've trained my mind to be able to get in that state regardless of if my eyes are closed or not. That's why before when we would get on and I would get on these lives, y'all would say, oh, he's doing it again. Because I had conditioned myself that, boom, I could go into like a meditative state, like instantly. When I was doing it all the time, boom, just instantly. And it was kind of crazy. So my point is, you have to learn, there's got to be a process of trusting self. Thank you, Callie girl. Thank you for the follow. Trusting yourself. Trusting that you're going to make the right decision. Trusting that the decision that you're making is going to be a decision that's for your highest and best and most productive and most successful benefit. Highest, put it in the chat, best, successful, and productive. Highest, best, successful, and productive. Put it in the chat. Highest, best, successful, productive. Put it in the chat. Highest, best, successful, productive. Put it in the chat. Highest, best, successful, productive. Put it in the chat. Right. Y'all ain't writing. No, y'all ain't writing. Thank you. You know what? Thank you, Callie girl. I got one person that's on my team. Thank you, Callie girl. My God. What was that? What did I start speaking in tongues? Let me stop, y'all. Let me stop. And let me not play. But my point is, number 6 is unhealthy and unstable relationship patterns. This is part of what I was just saying a few minutes ago to all of us. All of us have had these unstable and unhealthy relationship patterns based upon what is in our minds. Somewhere in our minds, we learned to look for certain people based upon something inside of us that we have to deal with, that we have to take that mirror and look at ourselves and say, why do I keep picking the same style person? What is it about me that I keep connecting with this same style person? And yeah, this one's light skinned, and this one's chocolate, and this one's Caucasian, and this one's Latina, and this one's this, and this one that. But they're all the same. Internally, they're all the same. Why? Why is that? Because of something within me that needed to change. It wasn't until I started this healing process, and I was talking to a friend one night, and she said this to me. And when she said it, I was cracking up, because she said, "You're the type of man that you seem like you always find those women that are," she said, I think needy or something like that. And I said, yeah. I said, and part of it was the way I was raised, and so I always felt like I needed to be that knight in shining armor, and here I come to save the day, just running in and saving the day and being there with the cape on, and But the sad reality is that I don't attract those people anymore. I attract independent people that have success, people that have their own, people that have a level of intelligence, people that have their own mindset, people that are about something, people that are creating their own lives, people that believe that they can manifest their own lives, people that believe that they are powerful. That's what I attract now. This is why I'm telling y'all that you got to go back in and you got to put a new program in your mind, because the old program that you have in your mind is getting us the result that we don't want. Because that recording gets hit every time you're in search. Oh, there he is. Oh, there she is. And it's the same person. And yeah, they might be taller, and they might be cuter, and they might have a better shape, and they might have this, and they might have their hair cuter, whatever. But it's going to be the same person until we actually stand there in front of that mirror, because our relationships are a mirror. We shouldn't get offended about our relationships, even when they're hurtful. That is a mirror to show me something about myself that I have to change, or part of something that I signed up to change as being part of this life. Oh my God, I am in like chills on this thing, like y'all. But part of something that I signed up for that I needed to work on as part of being in this life. It's something I signed up for, y'all. Number 7 is detachment. Detachment is something that I can relate to. It's probably something a lot of y'all can relate to. But again, when I'm describing these things, I'm not saying that just because a person has one of these symbols, that is a person that's dealing with abandonment issues. That's not what I'm saying. Thank y'all for the taps and shares and likes. Thank y'all for commenting. Thank y'all for being in here again. So detachment, they're not willing to really fully connect. They're not really fully ready to connect. And with all of us, sometimes that could just be a process that you have to go through. If you come throughout a traumatic relationship and you were really, really hurt from that, you're going to go through a process before you're really, really willing to just say, okay, and just kind of let go. Why? Because of the experience that you had. Because even though you're healing, it's like I say all the time, you're on a sliding scale. So instead of you being 1 when you started, you might be a 5 or a 6 on a 10 scale. So you're not as bad as you used to be. You're not in ICU. You're not in the intensive care unit, but you're still only a 5 or a 6. But because this is a journey. When people say, "Oh, I'm healed," it's a process. It's a continual process. It's a continual journey. It's continually working. So detachment is one of the symbols or one of the signs. Hypervigilance. Woo. I can't remember the book that I was reading, and the author was talking about that in the beginning of the book, and he was talking about hypervigilance. And how that a lot of times when different people that are in the service and they go off into military and things like that, when they go off to war, and then because of what they've seen in the bodies and the blah 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 and all the stuff, they're more hyper vigilant when they're out in public and around. They're always watching things, and they sit certain ways when they go in the restaurants, and they always need to see doors, and they need to know where everything is. And see, that's the same thing that happens when we're in our when we're still maybe coming through the healing journey, but really maybe not quite there, is that we're still in a hypervigilant place where we're looking at every single thing. And this is why I'm telling y'all, I'm just giving y'all some things to look at. I'm not saying just because you see something, you're going to be hypervigilant and, oh, there it is, and they're a narcissist. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Because what can happen is you're going to end up missing a good person, because there's no person, listen to me, please. There is no person that you are going to meet on this earth that is a perfect person. Yes, you might be sexually attracted to them. Yes, they might be attractive. Yes, they might be this. They might be the right height. They might be the right width, with all that stuff. But they are not going to be a perfect person, especially from an emotional level, because they grew up in mess just like we grew up in mess. And so our hypervigilance, sometimes what it's going to make you do is discard good people, because you're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. that symbolism of throwing the water out with the, I don't want to say it twice because one of these channels is a little sensitive. But that illustration, so what is that saying? That you're so busy, so focused on getting rid of the water, you're throwing away something that's important in the process. You could miss a blessing or miss something that potentially, thank you, Wendy, you missed for the follow. You're missing something that could potentially be your greatest blessing by being so hyper vigilant that everything that these people do or everything that this man says that you're interested in, that you're micromanaging his every word. He's a human being. How can you is he micromanaging your word? And how would you like it if he did it to you? Or how would you like it if she did it to you? Because you're putting them under a unfair microscope that human beings can't be under, because there ain't people think that they're perfect and there ain't no perfect person. We can't, because you're going to, Wendy, in part, thank you for that confession. Wendy, part of why I'm sharing this is because I don't want people to throw out good people in the process of micromanaging or being in this place of hypervigilance. But still be vigilant, take your time. If you're out here and you're meeting people, don't completely open up, share some information, take your time, go slow. Because if they're a person that's willing to go slow, that's showing you something also. Because sometimes people are in such a rush, but what are you in such a rush for? Why? Because you're 40, you're 50. I mean, why are we in such a rush? Let's make conscious decisions based upon information and based upon us giving ourselves a chance to see if something that we're doing will actually work. And so that's 5. I think that's 8. Yeah, so that's 8. So the other things I'm gonna have to share with y'all next week. I will not be on Thursday and Friday because those are the last 2 days, and we got the live event where I'll be teaching about the subconscious mind. We're going to be digging into that. We're going to be talking about a lot of the blocks that many of us have in our minds and how these blocks are hindering us from getting a lot of the things that we want, whether it's the things that you need in your finance, whether it's the things that you need in your health, whether it's the things that you need in your relationships, whether it's your spirituality or whatever other area that you're in your life where you have blocks, where you get to a certain level and you just can't get past that. It's because of some kind of recording that you have in your mind. And based upon meditation and studying some things, one morning I woke up and I was at a friend's house and I woke up and the thought came to me just as clear. It said, why are you trying to train or program your subconscious through your conscious? That was kind of the general thought. And as I was thinking about that, I started seeing how that the pattern and how people taught this in the past, there needed to be some tweaks to it. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I'm going to tweak some things that we were taught in the past about the subconscious. That's going to make the process so much easier, because I'm going to show you how to train your subconscious the same way it speaks to you. And one of the easiest keys, and I'm going to give you all a nugget right now. One of the easiest ways to start getting used to your subconscious speaking to you is start asking your subconscious questions. Thank y'all for moving the chat and YouTube and Facebook. Thank y'all for the likes, the shares. Thank y'all for the taps. Thank y'all for being in here. Asking your subconscious questions. There's certain books and there's certain people that say that Einstein and some of these other guys, in order for them to invent certain things, they would get themselves into relaxed states. And one of the ways that I get myself in a relaxed state is, like I said, I have one of these little hourglasses. It's for 30 minutes. I might have a candle burning. I might have some high vibration music going, and I'll just sit there. And as I'm sitting there and I'm kind of looking at that candle, as I'm sitting there, what happens is my eyes start getting droopy and I start going to a sleepy state. But my point is, there's things that you can put into your mind to retrain your mind in the way that you think within that time frame, because your mind is most receptive to information the early part of the day and before you go off to sleep, and before you go off to sleep at any time. Because you go into a state of theta. You get into the state of theta, a low enough frequency, but slowing down your mindset where you can start receiving new information. So you can put new information in your mind. And I'm going to show people how they should write this thing out about their relationships, about their health, about their finances, and so on and so forth. I'm going to teach you how to write yourself a bedtime story, how to record it, what music you should use, what you should do, and so on and so forth. And bada bing, bada bang, whatever. But appreciate y'all being here. Y'all got any questions? Thank y'all for likes, subscribes, the shares, the taps. Thank y'all for the gifts. Thank y'all for being in the chat on YouTube. Thank y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank each and every one of y'all for being with us. If you're interested in being part of the live event, like I said, this will be my first one. I'm doing a test market. And so what that looks like is I'm not charging anything to come in the door, but you do have to register. If you do not register, you will not be welcome in. So you're going to have to go to my LINKTREE in my bio. And in there, you'll see a link with a lighthouse. Hit that link. Thank you. Thank you. Dreams do come true. Or Akua, how you been? I ain't seen you in a while. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Christy Taylor. Thank you, Dewetta, Innocence. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the follows and likes. But each and every one of you, again, so I'm not charging anything initially. Of course, there will be a charge for if you want to be part of these special groups that I'm starting after the event is over, where I'll take you one-on-one, or not even really. I prefer not to do one-on-one, so I'll put it out there, but I'm really not. I would prefer to do groups because it's easier if we do it as a group. There's so much more success that can happen, and then my schedule is like really busy. So there will be things that are available, but that would be up to you. And so my point is, you will need to register, and like I said, you would have to go to my LINKTREE in my bio, and I'm spelling that because the talk don't like when you say things like that on their page for whatever reason. But thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank y'all for the shares. Thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Have a great night. If y'all have any questions on TikTok, I'll stay on TikTok for a little while longer. If y'all have any questions or anything y'all want to discuss, and I might just keep it running for both. So if y'all have any questions, and if you go up there, and if you're so inclined, you can follow my YouTube. It's Healing Hearts Network by Arnold Alston. And it's in that same link, or it's in that same bio. Yeah, so Cali girl, yeah. Oh, I can't call you that. I can't call you that. She said, I thought it was Cali in this call. So I call a call. Yeah, put your you'll have to register in that in my bio. And then part of that, what I'll do is it's 3 days. I'm doing 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm going to go over as much as I can within an hour. Some things I'm going to share with y'all information like this. And then the next thing is I'll have y'all do little assignments for like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And so it's not going to be me talking for an hour. It's going to be me teaching you something or sharing something with you. Y'all doing an assignment, hands-on in that moment. So whatever you get done, you do. Then you'll have to do whatever you need to do later. There will be certain little homework or assignments that I'm going to have for y'all, because I'm going to want you to start getting in the habit of training yourself to change the different things that are going on in your atmosphere. What's up, Rebecca? And so part of that is the different things that you're putting in your mind, and the different places that you're going, and the things that you're doing. So thank y'all for being here. Okay, thank you. So again, if you want to register, go to my bio. And in there, there's a link. It has a lighthouse. You hit that link. You go in there, fill out your information, and where it says buy this or want this or whatever, just hit that, and it opens up, and so on and so forth. You put your information in there, and again, there's no charge. I don't need it. It's no charge. Yeah, practice makes permanent. Yeah, and so part of that, like I said, we will be discussing in detail the subconscious and a lot of the blocks. I'm going to be going over certain techniques that you can do to start. Like I kind of mentioned one a few minutes ago, where you can start training yourself through your meditation practice. Because there's actual studies, y'all, which we can't go over all this stuff. That's why I'm saying I'm going to give y'all 3 days, an hour each day, and I'm going to allow a certain amount of time for question and answer. The only problem is I'm going to probably set up that all questions, keep them towards the end, so we can kind of. So what I want y'all doing is writing your questions down. I would rather you're involved with the chat, involved with everybody. I want to build a unity within everybody that's a part of this. And appreciate y'all being in here. Thank y'all for joining in. Thank y'all for those that's in the YouTube. Thank you, Renee, for being in YouTube. Thank you, Renee, for being the moderator in YouTube. Renee, hey, everybody give Renee a hand for being the moderator in YouTube. Yay! Everybody thank Dancing for being the moderator in TikTok. Yay, Dancing! Woo! Come on, give me some clappy hands in the chat. Give me some clappy hands in the chat. Come on, clap it up. Dancing's going to shoot me. Dancing's going to shoot. Oh, no. Dancing's. Let me stop. Yeah, see, she said, yay, Renee. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate all of y'all doing. You know, my dad. Yes, Call. Yeah, my dad always said never fire free help. My dad always told me, he said, boy, you don't never fire no free help. I said, yes, sir, Daddy. Yeah, she gonna give me the eyes. Yeah, she don't like me too. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, so we're having that event. This will be our first one. I'm excited about it. I'm going to record it. I'm looking for those that would be willing to give me reviews of the information and the things that they've gotten. I'm not talking about just written reviews. I want some that are bold enough to get on camera with me side by side, and I ask them some questions, and and I might even give you the questions ahead of time if you want. How do you start to heal? That's depending on a lot of things. But the first thing is, if it's from a relationship or if it's from a person that passed, it's going to be a little bit different. But the only thing is, if it's from a relationship, one of the first steps that I tell people is you got to separate yourself from that person and everything that's tied to them, if it's at all possible. So what that looks like, if it is a relationship, what that looks like is social media, contacts, anything that's giving you contact to that person. You want to kind of cut away from that, because you have to start focusing on yourself. You got to start focusing on the things that you need to take care of, the things that you need to do to get in a healthier state. And so I'm just giving you a brief overview answer because I don't have any details of what your particular situation is. But healing is one of the first stages of healing. And one of the first stages of healing is denial. And so you asking this question, depending on your situation, is an important question, because for many of us, we were in that place of denial for such a long period of time, because we didn't want to accept that maybe this relationship was over, or maybe this business failed, or maybe this, because the healing starts with, again, it starts with getting to a place of acceptance, and getting out of denial. So again, those that want to join in what we're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will be our first live event. It's not something that I only want people that are serious, and I cannot stress this enough. If you are serious about learning how to truly reprogram and transform your life, I only want people that are truly ready to transform and change their lives. And so there's certain assignments and things that I'm going to give you to do, which is going to help you in that process. But if you're not willing to do those things, or if you don't think that you're willing to do those things, something that I'm going to have set up afterwards, because I'm not charging anything for for people to come into the class. Initially, I was going to charge, but I said, no, I'm going to allow people to come in, because I'm doing a test market on this first process. Because once a certain amount of people come in there and they get the results, then I'll charge, because then I got proof I can put plant proof up there. And so I got the dancing standing next to me on the thing, or I got D-Law or somebody else, and they're on the thing, and they're saying, yeah, I took that program and I did it for 3 days and I did it for 90 days. And this is what happened to me. And I was a little skeptical about this, and I was thinking about that, and so on and so forth, because that has power. For whatever reason, people's minds register seeing some stranger on a screen, or some other stranger talking to them who they don't even know, telling them how good something is. I don't understand it. With all the trust issues that most people have in society, in my mind, I don't understand the concept of it, but it's just human nature. For whatever reason, we're more trusting of not the person that's presenting something, I guess, because we think they're getting something out of it, but the other person that's sitting beside them, especially if they're attractive or something. Oh, it's just a whole nother gamut. But appreciate y'all being here. If y'all have any more questions, anything y'all want to discuss, thank y'all. Thank each and every one of y'all. So, all right, I'm going to end this YouTube. But y'all have any questions in YouTube? What? Y'all have any questions in YouTube? So, all right, we're going to end that stream in YouTube.